Battletech the RPG. Kind of. Sort of. Tabletop. A lot of great new players. I've been noticing an influx of new Battletech players on my blog, on my channel here. A couple of people at the club playing Battletech. Certain things in the Battletech community. We've got the Kickstarter, as of this podcast, in action. This is, I won't say the golden age of Battletech, but a resurgence in Battletech that I have not seen in many, many years, more so than the last time the starter boxes were released. So this is a great time to bring in new players. This is a great time for those of us who have been playing Battletech for a while to reevaluate things, to add some things. And as always, not that we need an excuse, but an excuse to justify the purchase of more miniatures and to expand our mech collections. I've joined a couple of Facebook groups, Battletech Facebook groups, where videos are posted, pictures are posted, and you can kind of see the hobby workbench of other mech warriors. And it's pretty awesome. There's a lot of really great ideas for painting, but this is a dangerous place to be because I'm seeing so many amazing mechs, and I'm getting motivated, and I'm like, just, need more Battletech stuff on there. I wanted to push out this thought and share because a couple of comments were, Fritz, Battletech, the role-playing game, have you played it? Because you play D&D, you play other things. What about that RPG perspective? I have not, but I have played and continue to play every now and then, and this ties into miniatures, with role-playing RPG aspects in Battletech. So I want to offer you two examples that I like to use in actual tabletop, pulling that in. Now, the great thing about Battletech, I don't want to speak for all of us, but I believe many players start with the Succession Wars, after the fall of the Star League, maybe just up to the clan invasion. Then, of course, you get into clans. But Battletech as a game is really interesting because there's a massive timeline involved. And you can play exclusively in one era. You can jump around. And even the mechs that you are familiar with and that you love, they evolve. So if we look at a Stalker in the Succession era, then you look at it during the clan invasion when they're starting to get retrofits. Then you look at it when it's been upgraded with some lost tech and other things. That literal miniature in your collection has the chance to play in 3 different tech brackets, go up against Inner Sphere, go up against clans. I mean, there's a lot. Then on top of that, we can start to add in the narrative of role-playing games. So you could play role-playing RPG, Battletech, and then jump over to tabletop. And of course, being a war game, you've got the chance to build and paint and terrain and all that. So really a massive, massive hobby in there. So 2 aspects of role-playing that I bring into my tabletop, pure tabletop Battletech. After every battle, we nominate an MVP. That pilot in that mech has to survive. That's the rule. The mech could be destroyed. Maybe it gets rebuilt. But that pilot is linked to piloting, that mech warrior is linked to piloting that mech. So if I have a pilot piloting a Stalker, anytime I play a Stalker, as long as that pilot's alive, I can choose to put that pilot in there. After every game, each player nominates an MVP on the other opponent's side, whether it was for glory or tactica, or just, hey, they did a really good job rolling the dice. Whatever it's going to be, you nominate 1. When you get 5 experience points, 5 nominations, and that scale can slide up and down, then you get to increase pilot skill or gunnery skill, or perhaps take off some consciousness checks, some pilot unconscious checks in there. Roll if they've been hit in the head. So a little bit of role-playing to develop your pilots, and you keep track of them, and you can play different mechs to try and get that MVP nomination. It adds a little bit of real-time role-playing without breaking the game. The other aspect, now for this you kind of need to have 2 or 3 other players. Starting a new mercenary group or starting a new lance on there, you can add to your group based on the mechs that you destroy or salvage. Now, you're not going to keep your friends' mechs, but the idea is, let's say you're playing against me, and in the course of the battle, you blow off my Stalker's leg, my Stalker goes down, it's immobilized, or it takes 2 gyro hits, engine hits, it's out, it's done. The game's over, but technically it's still on the table for salvage. Make a note of all the mechs that are reasonably salvageable. You know, obviously if it blows up and it's smoking boots, no. And based on those mechs, Fritz is now giving you permission to go out and purchase that model and add it to your collection. It's very Riddick, right? It's very, you keep what you kill on there. So another great way to kind of see how your collection can grow. So now what you find is not only you trying to win the mission, but you're like, if I want a T-Bolt in my collection, then I got to go out and find a player that has a T-Bolt, and I got to blow its legs off or hit it with punch it in the head and salvage it, and then I can go out and add it to my collection. So a lot of really great ways to keep track of that narrative, to keep track of that role-playing experience, and pull it into Battletech without going full RPG. Although you could.